Hello, courageous coaches. Welcome to my channel. I'm tuning in from this beautiful coastline of Catalonia in the north of Spain, and really glad to have you here because today I wanted to chat to you about how to stand out as a coach. Because we know how many coaching schools are out there, how many talented and trained coaches graduate every single year. So the question is, how do you stand out and differentiate your brand and your coaching skill out there in the market? And if you're new here and you're someone who's looking to build a thriving coaching practice, do subscribe to my channel, as I often share my strategies and ideas here. I've launched my career coaching practice 5 years ago. So I feel like I've had time to try every trick in the book to experiment with ways of building up my coaching practice into something that could bring sustainable income. So I've tried working without a niche, and I've tried working with a niche. And I'm going to share with you my experience of doing both. So I've studied at the Coactive Training Institute in London, so Coactive Coaching, if you know it, or CTI. And I really loved how they train you in the coaching skill. And what I really took away from this as well is it's really nice to not specialize in anything in particular, to be honest, and just being open to whatever client brings to the table and dance in the moment and be able to use the coaching skills to help the client tap on their own experience and knowledge to achieve the outcomes or results that they want from the session. While I found this exhilarating to really arrive to the session without having any agenda or any experience of dealing with what the client is talking about. But where I found this to be a little bit tricky is when I would have enrollment calls with potential clients and they would ask me, okay, so tell me a little bit more about what you do. And I would just start going into nitty-gritty of what coaching is, of what the process is like. I would literally just start seeing life drain out of them and they get super bored. You know, it was so upsetting for me to know, like, if you really use these coaching tools, and this one and that one, it can be so transformative for you. How do people not understand it, right? And I'm curious to hear if you had similar experiences in enrollment conversations or discovery calls. If so, please share in the comments below. I'd love to hear. After some time, I've decided that maybe this is just not easy for someone who hasn't had experience of coaching and the coaching tools and the kind of transformation that they can bring about. If they haven't had experience of that yet, it will be very hard for them to really see the value of the work that you're doing, the training that you've had on their lives. And suddenly I've realized that even for myself, you know, when I was considering hiring a coach or starting a coaching training with CTI, you know, I was just reading on the CTI website about the modules that they provide, something about fulfillment and process and balance. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know what this is about. I don't know if that's going to help me. When I had the experience of someone else using these tools in the conversations with me, it was life-changing. But can you see how from the outside, that looks like a fairy mumbo jumbo? And so basically I've continued on my journey, just hoping that maybe that next conversation, the client will be well aligned with me. They will really dig the value of coaching and they will sign up. And even though it did happen at times, I felt like I couldn't increase my rate significantly. I couldn't turn coaching into a sustainable business that I was looking to build. And somehow, somewhere, I heard about that dirty word called niching. Have you heard about niching? Do you hate the word as well? So did I. And the only reason I got curious is because my savings kind of started to deplete and run out, and I was starting to panic and really kind of looking for help. So I started looking into doing different coaching business programs, and this is a topic that they seem to bring up a lot. And I don't know about you, but I am someone who loves to keep my options open, to have the freedom to work on any topic with anyone in the world. So this was something that was a real struggle for me to understand that this is something that can really help me to build the foundations of my business. So if you feel in a similar way, bear with me because niching doesn't have to be awful. Niching can be really great for both your clients and for yourself. So a quick analogy I want to offer to you is when you go shopping for something quite specific, do you choose a universal store that sells everything, or if there is a similar shop right next to it that specializes in that what you're looking for, where would you go? So I was in the airport recently and I just realized I need to buy new sunglasses. So there was this duty free that had everything in there, perfume, mascara, and also sunglasses. And right next to it, there was another shop that only specialized in sunglasses. So where do you think I went first? Of course, the sunglasses shop. And why? Because there was a gentleman there who knew everything about all these different brands and he could just pick it up, explain to me what's polarized, what's not, which brands he would recommend, at which price. So the service was fantastic. I didn't have to waste my time looking for where the sunglasses are in that store. So yeah, so I walked out with these sunglasses feeling very pleased that I was really well looked after. And I felt like I got a really great deal for the type of sunglasses I was looking for. And I may have paid a little bit more than in another shop, but nonetheless, I felt very satisfied with my purchase. Is it starting to click for you what I mean and why it might be quite interesting for you to experiment with some niching in your process? And so the moment I realized that, and with the help of a business coach, we sat down and really analyzed the strengths of my experience, the kind of purpose that I really want to express in the world, my passions. When we've managed to put this together and understand the niche that would be well aligned with that, and also research and analyze that niche, this was the moment that just changed my coaching practice from being this passion project that I was so excited about, but it wasn't really supporting my lifestyle. I had to have a part-time job in the first year of doing this work, to me being able to quit that job and focus full-time on doing something that I love and help create those amazing transformations in my client lives and careers. And I don't know how you feel about that, but many coaches I've spoken to do freak out a little bit when they hear the word niching. And before you do, I just want to let you know that choosing your initial target audience, the place you want to focus on, does not mean that you will have to get stuck there forever and ever, or that you will not be able to change it in the future. So this niching serves more like a trigger for someone to reach out to you, for someone to actually decide to work with you because they know that you can really help them with the need or the issue that they have. But what it doesn't mean is that you will never ever work with other types of people on other types of topics. Because once they walk through the door, there's so many different topics that you can talk about in a one-on-one conversation. One of my clients initially came to me because he wanted support thinking about what to do next with his career. But actually, when we dug deeper, we realized there were some deeper questions that he had around his relationships. And so he decided that it was more important for him to resolve that first before moving on in his career. And so at the end of the day, we spent one session on his career and then 9 sessions working on his romantic relationship. And the funny thing that happened is once that relationship topic has got resolved, it gave him that new energy and inspiration to go and really step into his power at work. And he ended up getting a really exciting role to work as a CEO of this tech startup. And it was so satisfying for me because he understood why he would work with me. But, you know, in a coaching session, there's always space to dance in the moment, to respond to the needs of the situation, to coach on any topic that comes up. So, and the second point I wanted to make on this is that you don't actually have to stay married to that niche forever and ever, right? So once you had an opportunity to work with this kind of group of people on this type of topic, if you feel that this is not 100% aligned with you, if you want to try other things, by all means, go and do that, right? But if you feel like you need to start turning coaching from being an exciting passion project into a business that can bring you revenue consistently at a level of your last corporate salary or above, I think it's very important for you to consider deciding on which niche you're going to focus on first. And again, from my personal experience, having niched on one specific area in the beginning, I was still able to work with people in so many different sectors outside of finance, where I focused initially. I worked with artists, with people in consumer goods, with entrepreneurs and founders of companies, with graduates, with people nearing retirement, with people looking to scale their businesses and consultants. So a huge variety of topics and different types of audiences. And I didn't feel in any way limited at that stage because, once you start doing a really great work for a small group of people, they start recommending you to all other types of people. So I hope this is starting to sink in a little bit, that niching is there in your favor, especially in the early stages when you're building out your coaching practice. So I'd love to hear from you. What are you taking away from this so far? What are you hearing? And what kind of niches are you considering for yourself? Do share in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So at this stage, you might start wondering, like, how do you actually start thinking around what your niche should be? How far do you need to niche down? And also, how do you research and analyze this niche, especially when you're considering how much do you want to or need to be bringing from your coaching practice? And of course, if you're wondering, how can you make sure that you can work with people who you feel really passionate to help, but at the same time, the level of revenue that you want from your coaching practice consistently? So you'll be very excited that specifically for coaches like yourself, I have designed an online program called Fully Booked Coach, where we go through this process in the early stages to make sure that you set the foundations right so that you can build your branding, your marketing, your leads generation channels, and your sales process based on this really strong foundation to understand who do you serve and how do you stand out. So if you're ready to turn your coaching practice from this exciting passion project to a thriving coaching business, do get in touch. I left a link below to a Calendly, so just schedule it directly in the calendar, or you can just send me an email and we'll get this booked. I'd love to meet you and learn more about your journey so far. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you here on my channel next time. Have a great day.